Good afternoon and welcome to Mike and the Hoss on Wolfeboro Community Television. I'm Mike Danais.
And I'm Charlie Hossack.
We're going to thank our sponsors.
Absolutely. Let's do that. I'll start. Skelly's Market.
Downtown Grill Cafe.
And Morrissey's Porch and Pub. Thank you so much for sponsoring us.
And another piece of information, we're on the radio.
Oh my gosh, we are?
We are on the radio.
No
we are on Fridays 4:30 to 5:30 on WASR 97.1 and 1420. So if you want some more Mike and the Hoss, please listen to us.
Yeah. Give us a call in.
Coach, big news last night.
Yes.
I mean, and now today's Tuesday, so Monday was a school board meeting, and this airs on Friday, so it's not going to be as new news, but sports have been approved.
Yes, by a vote of 8-1.
8-1 by the school board, the fall sports anyway.
Yes, fall sports.
With obviously a phased-in approach, and we are fortunate that, there's not much reason for us to talk about it right now because we have Mr. House coming in.
We do.
And we had some technical difficulties, so he's actually going to come into the show.
Yep.
Rather than being on the Google Meet.
Right.
And so we're going to have to put our masks on.
Yeah, that's good.
And so without further ado, Mr. House is going to be here in a second. So we'll be right back. Welcome back, Mike and the Hoss. We are fortunate, as promised, that we have Mr. Aaron House, the athletic director. Right fresh off the school board meeting last night where sports were approved. So congratulations, Mr. House.
They were, yeah, thank you so much. And, I want to thank Eric Nelson and Alex Drea. They really helped me put the proposal together. The coaches have been really patient and waiting to see what was going to come of all this. And we've had great support from administration, Mr. Donnelly, Mr. Riley, and Superintendent Kathy Cuddy-Egbert. So really a team effort, and at least for now, we are moving forward with sports here at Kingswood. That's
great. So just Eric Nelson is the varsity boys soccer coach, and Alex Drea, as you guys know, is the athletic trainer. Aaron, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I did want to thank you. I thought your presentation was excellent. You were well prepared and articulate, and really appreciate you representing the face of Kingswood Athletics. A job well done.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the plan, where we're at right now.
Well, where we are now is as you had said, fresh off the meeting. We'll be meeting tomorrow as an athletic department staff in the lecture hall to really chart the next steps for all of us. The idea will be obviously to make sure everyone understands the guidelines that still have to be followed, procedures to make sure the kids and the coaches proceed safely. And really then also meeting individually with programs. So while we're meeting as a big group tomorrow, we're then going to break out into individual team meetings over the next week because every sport is a little different. For instance, volleyball right now is not in the gym. They're not allowed in the building at this point in time. So we have painted volleyball courts on the softball field. The girls got out there last night, and so everyone's adjusting a little bit. We need to make sure that we give every attention. Pay attention to every program and every athlete because everyone is a little different.
Aaron, some clarifying questions. The board is coming, you're meeting back with the board on September 10th, the way I understand it, and to see if there's anything else. But we are starting September 8th, is that correct?
Correct, yes. So as the presentation went, or the proposal, we are running our Kingswood summer training sessions right up until the 8th. On the 8th, that's for all intents and purposes what a traditional kickoff to a varsity season looks like. That'll be the first day of tryouts for our varsity teams. We have to map out exactly what happens after that. When will JV practices begin? When will middle school practices begin? But yes, September 8th is the official NHI-AA start date for all the sports. I know the kids are looking forward to it, and again, I think coaches are licking their chops a little bit to get going here.
Yeah, no, I've had a chance to see a lot of the skill sessions this summer, especially with soccer, but I've seen volleyball out there as well, and they're doing a great job. I mean, you can see they have the social distancing, they have the precautions in place, and there are a lot of kids eager to get back out onto the playing fields, and I think you're doing it safely. It looks great, and we obviously haven't had any cases, and the kids are happy, and it seems that the coaches are happy as well.
In your proposal, you would say that we're not going to have games before October 5th. Is that what's happening in the rest of the state, or is that Kingswood plan?
That is a Kingswood plan at this point in time. Every community is a little different. I did have some communication with the Pittsfield AD. They have a very similar phased approach where they're beginning sessions leading into varsity practices, team practices, and then looking for some friendlies before they head into NHI-AA games. Some schools are saying that they're all in. I don't know what exactly that means. It could be that sometimes schools want to be all in just to kind of keep some of the comments at bay for right now. So it'll be interesting to see how those schools that are all in progress. I'm confident and comfortable with what we have. Should the board on September 10th, when we give them the additional information that they're looking for, I know there was some concern based on bass fishing season and the length, and also golf. It'd be interesting to see at that meeting, given the data, if we're able to, maybe take another step forward in terms of what we're allowed to do. Maybe play games a little earlier, but as of right now, I'm comfortable with October 1, and it seemed that the board was comfortable with October 1. However, it did seem like they left that open a little bit to explore what is happening in and around the state on September 10th.
Right. Now, you said you're going to be meeting on Wednesday with the Lakes Region Athletic Directors, so that's coming up tomorrow.
Correct, tomorrow. Yep.
All right, that's exciting. And are you guys going to attempt to put together some preliminary schedules of what it would look like for Kingswood as they get ready to compete in October?
Yeah, we would be. The schedule, actually, Craig Cousins, the Laconia Athletic Director, he's done a great job. He's put together a preliminary schedule already.
Okay.
And all of the Kingswood games do fall after October 1st. But essentially what we're trying to do is get the kids the experience of having interscholastic games and at the same time be safe. So as I said last night at the board meeting, it could be that we play Guilford, for an entire week. You play them in boys soccer on one day, then girls soccer, then volleyball. So again, if something was to happen, if something was to break, the contact tracing is there. You know exactly what school we played and how many days ago that we had played them.
That stood out to me and my wife. Carla was watching last night with me, and she says that's one of the smartest things that I've heard.
Yes.
In terms of COVID and schools and stuff like that, that play one school for a week through all the sports. So if something does happen, you're not infecting 6 or 7 other schools.
Right.
So I will congratulate you on that. Question. We talked about open tournaments, and you said football and golf chose not to be in an open tournament. What does that mean for them?
For our teams? Or the sports in general?
So the sports in general, does that just mean that they're going to go with a traditional plan?
I wish I knew. I haven't seen anything outside of them saying that they weren't doing an open tournament. So I'm not sure. I think the biggest question for every sport, but really if you just focus in on football, the biggest question for the NHIAA, athletic directors and coaches, how many schools are going to be playing football? We've seen that some schools have just canceled football and cheer. Some schools, again, are saying they're all in. You've got schools like us saying we're phased approach. So until we know how many schools are playing that particular sport, and I just actually filled out a survey before I walked in here to the state asking us, what sports are you offering? And I clicked off all of our sports because as of last night, we are offering all of our sports. Now, can that change? Of course it could. So I think the NHIAA will use that information. They'll share those results with the football committee, and then the football committee will have to sit down and figure out if they can have a playoff and what that would look like for the schools participating in it.
Awesome. Aaron, we know you have a lot of meetings and you're very busy right now because, as they said, the devil's in the details, and I hate to do that, but there are a lot of details, and we heard last night there's still a lot of things that have to happen. You had mentioned the team meeting, so I want to thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it, and as things go on, I think we're going to try to call on you. We had some technical difficulties, everybody. That's why Mr. House came in instead of being online, which is why we're wearing the mask. But I think there's going to be a lot of information that you can give the community over the next few weeks that we'd like to have you come in.
I'm happy to do so, and everyone out there, feel free to call me, email me, and we're here to serve the kids and make sure everyone's comfortable during this phase in Kingswood Athletics.
And registrations, now, there was some information on registrations last night. Kids have to re-register, is that correct?
We're going to ask all families to re-register. That should go live tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Okay.
And it's just a matter of making sure that the appropriate waiver is signed, because again, when we opened up registration in May, that COVID language was not in there. And of course, sports is voluntary, and for those that are going to participate, we're asking them to just agree to that waiver, and away we go.
Awesome.
Great.
All right, thank you, Aaron.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be right back. All right, that was really good.
It was great.
Glad we had him. We talked about communication, because there is a lot of that people need to know
Yeah.
about what is happening, and
It's going to be a lot of details.
there is, and that's great news. It's great news. It's we haven't started games yet, and games are more than a month away. For the most part.
Yeah.
But we've been saying this all along. As long as things aren't canceled, things are
Right.
moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. And I was I watched the school board meeting. I'm sure you did as well. And I was just, once the vote happened, I was relieved and excited, and I can't wait, because obviously we have kids that play sports. We cover sports. We are really looking forward to the start of the Kingswood season, and of course, start of the Kingswood season safely. And I think Mr. House kind of started to give us information about how that's going to play out. It started last night at the school board meeting, and kind of continued today with us. That he's got a lot of details to figure out, and he's going to keep us in the loop as he as he goes through.
And we had said it when he was here. We're going to have him on a lot over the next few weeks,
Yep.
and to share information with the public about what is happening, so people are in the know. And communication's huge. Not just for athletics, but for the school system also,
course.
because this is not this is not your regular school year.
It is not. It
It
is not.
Last year didn't end as a regular school year. This year's certainly not starting out as a regular school year.
Right.
And it probably will be like this for the whole school year.
I would
And
think so.
things are going to
Yeah.
be changing often. So keeping everybody in the loop. Anything else on Kingswood?
I don't think so. I think we're at a point where, I know we're excited. So it's great news. The kids are out there already continuing with their summer skills sessions. They've been out there, for the past few weeks, and that's going to continue. And as of right now, as Mr. House said, it's looking like September 8th and September 9th. They'll start kind of traditional practices and tryouts, and then Mr. House once again will meet with the school board on the 10th to kind of share the details of the upcoming season.
All right. Let's go on to some New England sports. Red Sox.
Yeah,
They've reached a milestone.
they have a milestone you don't want to reach.
You don't?
The
But they were first.
Yeah, they are first. They're number one. So the first team, Major League Baseball, to have 20 losses.
That's something to be proud of.
Oh my goodness!
Especially
Especially
with
with
the
that payroll. Were you going
third
to say
highest
that?
payroll.
Yeah.
Third
That's good.
highest payroll.
I knew that was coming. Yeah. So that's it's an embarrassment.
If Dan Duquette was still the general manager, he would be bragging about that.
Probably
Because
first in something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember this, going back, but he said that the Red Sox were the best team because they were in first place longer than any other team in the league.
Awesome.
So that's where we're at with the Red Sox. We're holding on to nothing. It's really nothing.
No,
they're
there's
not
nothing.
good. They did win since their last show. They won like 4 games in a row,
Yeah.
which was nice to see.
They were playing Baltimore
They were playing Baltimore, although Baltimore was second at the time.
at the
or
time.
third.
Yeah.
It's just they're not good. They're not good. They have some good players that are starting to play better.
Right.
Rafael Devers is starting to play better.
Yeah.
Um,
Mitch Moreland's playing well.
Mitch Moore's playing well. Bogarts has been playing well.
Yeah.
Verdugo we've talked about.
Yeah.
Who's been playing pretty
Excellent.
well.
Yeah.
Vasquez has been playing pretty well.
So I think for us, as we continue with this abbreviated Red Sox season, we should just, I'm not speaking for you, but I'm thinking in general, instead of rooting for the Red Sox, we have individual players now that I'm excited about. I want individual players. That's where I've come, Mike.
We're fantasy now. We're doing
Yeah,
fantasy.
I'm like a fantasy, but not really fantasy. I want these 4 players to do well.
All right. They did make some trades.
They did,
Heath Embry and Brandon Workman are no longer Red Sox. They are Phillies.
which is sad. They helped us.
Why?
Well, let me explain.
Okay.
It's sad because they were part of World Series victories for us, and that to me was that little piece, and they've left. And I don't think from a business perspective, I think it was a great deal. That's fine. See you later trades from the perspective of baseball business, and they certainly weren't. They certainly weren't the Hembry and Workman of old.
No.
So,
No.
but it's for me. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the nostalgia.
I say gut them.
Yeah.
I say gut them.
Okay.
Devers and Bogarts, they stay.
See you later, JBJ.
Everybody else
Yeah,
is gone.
So
At this point, it's a lost season. Teams are making a rush all around you because a lot of teams do make the playoffs,
Yeah.
which is a whole other story that the Red Sox are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
When most of the teams in the league do make the playoffs, trade them all.
they're still paying Pedroia.
He hasn't retired yet.
I know. Would you? You could still get paid.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so, but he's still hoping he's coming back.
Yeah. He isn't.
All right, Patriots. It's officially it's Cam Newton's team.
It is. It is officially Cam Newton's team.
So yesterday, today's Tuesday, being Monday,
Yeah.
he took 40 out of the roughly 65 reps.
Yes.
In practice.
Mm-hmm.
Not great though. I mean, it's his team. I'm not sure how good of a thing that is. He 10 for 19, threw a couple picks.
Yeah.
So let's not get too excited about being his team.
Yeah. I guess my question for you is, I mean, 10 for 19 is not very good, and throwing picks is not very good. But how many times do you think Cam Newton during a regular season game is going to throw the ball? I mean, what are your thoughts?
25?
You think that high? See, I'm thinking a little lower.
No, I'm thinking 25.
Okay.
I'm thinking that there will be a lot of short intermediate routes like Brady used
Yes,
to throw.
yes,
A little bit more conservative, but yeah, I think 25, and
Okay.
I think that he's going to be good for a pick a game. They've been talking about his accuracy, that it's a positive thing, but he's still throwing some picks.
But he's also throwing picks against pretty good defense.
Well, yesterday's pick was against an undrafted free agent.
Okay. Oh.
Just so
Maybe he's amazing.
Malcolm Butler coming again.
Malcolm Butler coming at you.
So one of his receivers,
Yes.
Cam Newton, N'Keal Harry, been a little
Second year player.
tumultuous start.
Yeah.
Was apparently has missed some practices due to injuries. Came back to practice, then kind of bowed out of practice on Sunday.
Yeah.
Came back to practice yesterday, and apparently was the most dominant player on the field yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that good news or bad news?
I think it's bad news.
I do too.
Yeah.
All right. So he has a switch. He has a
Yeah.
switch, and I think any of those guys that have a switch where
Yeah.
they turn it on and turn it off, you can't trust them.
No, you can't. And I think, when you look at some players that don't have a switch, or have a switch that's on all the time, like a Julian Edelman,
Yep.
it's always 100%.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. Practice, game, probably getting a
Well,
coffee at Dunkin' Donuts.
I mean, I would
it's
even say
100%.
that the former quarterback of the Patriots was on all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
He practiced as hard as he played in the games.
Yep.
And
I agree.
That scares me about N'Keal Harry. It makes me excited to hear that he was uncoverable yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about that term. He's
Uncoverable. Yeah. It's like Randy Moss-esque.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Jerry Brown. Not Jerry Brown. Jerry Rice.
Jerry Brown.
Jerry Brown, the former governor of California.
All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess that we're going to keep watching that.
Yeah.
He's back on the field. Hopefully today he puts together another practice like he did yesterday.
I hope he's uncoverable for the rest of the year.
a streak. But
Let me ask you, back up just 1 second. I wanted to ask you a question about quarterbacks. So Stidham, as we know, is on injured reserve. He hasn't practiced since he got there.
no, he practiced yesterday.
No, he did not. He did not practice yesterday.
Yes, he did. He was limited yesterday.
Limited, okay.
He was limited. He took 9 reps in that.
Okay. So he had limited reps. He didn't practice on Sunday.
Correct.
All right. So he's got the hip injury.
Correct.
All right. My question for you is: does Jarrett Stidham start the season on IR, and you go with Newton and Hoyer?
I think that Jarrett Stidham is going to start the season on IR with designation to return. I think he's
Yeah.
going to get that.
Sure, that
thing,
little asterisk with it.
which gives him the 8th game he can come back if they play 8 games.
Yeah.
That would be. I don't see them carrying 3 quarterbacks on the roster. But I think that the rules for their rosters are going to be a little bit different this
I think
year.
so too.
Where they're going to be able to carry some
more
more
open.
guys. So if they can
Yeah.
carry more guys, maybe he does stick around. Maybe they do want to get him some reps. He's had a bad training so far. He's had a bad training camp, and there's no 2 ways around it.
Right.
And I think that this is on top of seemingly having a bad spring, which is why they brought in Newton.
Right.
If you're a Stidham fan, I think you should worry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Stidham fan. I was hoping he was going to be the one,
Yeah.
because this kind of puts us, and I know we don't have to worry about it this year, but it's only Cam's team for a year.
We don't have a quarterback next year.
Yeah, so I
Agreed.
guess I am worried about it.
All right, we got some good news. Let's talk Bruins and Celtics. Bruins did away with Carolina.
They did.
Played very, very well. And they're already up 1-0 on Tampa Bay.
I know.
As far as that goes. So I do give a little bit of pause on this, though, because 2 years ago they were up. When they played Tampa, they won the first game handily.
Yeah.
And Tampa came back and won the next 4.
So similar scenario right now.
So I'm not going to get too excited about this. especially if you look at the last 2 minutes, Tampa scored.
Yeah.
They made it a game.
Pulled the goalie, and
If Tampa wins that game yesterday, day before yesterday, they win the series. I think it's done, because you can't play as well as the Bruins did, being up 3-0,
right,
and then give that
and
game
almost
away.
give it away. Yeah.
They should worry. I think Tampa stepped on the gas a little bit in the third period, a little bit more. They're playing tonight. Tonight's Tuesday, so it's going to be really physical. I do like the fact that the top two lines for the Bruins are playing really well.
Yeah.
They're playing very, very well, where in the other years it was usually just one line.
Right.
And also Charlie Coyle. Charlie Coyle's centering the third line. He's playing great.
Very well.
He's got a couple goals, really neat goals. But he's solidifying that third line, and giving them some offensive punch. So the problem that the Bruins have run into in years past is that they've gotten most of their scoring from one line.
Yeah.
If that gets spread out a little bit,
they've got a good shot. The thing I like about the Bruins' chances is there's no home ice, right? They're in a bubble,
Yep.
so there are no fans. So it's not like Tampa's going back to their crowd, and
Yep.
so I like that. So we've talked about that with other sports. So
Bruins are still home. I don't know if the Bruins are home, actually. I think the Bruins. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, because they reseeded everybody based on the round robin thing. So
did.
I'm not sure how.
But either
that
way,
works.
they're barely both home.
Hossack is playing good enough.
Absolutely.
I think he's not as good as Rask.
Yeah, right. And we shouldn't compare him. We know that.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's playing good enough. And if the team plays better in front of him, and he's playing good enough, then maybe that's better than Rask.
Right. Right.
But that's the way I would see it. Tampa's such tough. Victor Hedman is, I think by far the best defenseman in the league.
Yeah.
And he's big. The puck was on his stick the whole third period.
It was.
It was amazing. It was just, he controlled the whole third period. Barely got off the ice. And so I think we're going to see a lot more Hedman. And Vasilevsky is the real deal in goal.
Yeah.
Those goals, those weren't soft goals that he let in.
No. No, they weren't.
Anyway, other good news: Celtics, they swept Philly. Surprised me. I mean, Philly didn't have Simmons, which is obviously a loss for them. And Embiid played for 3 quarters in each game, and then decided to not play the fourth quarter.
Yeah, which is really interesting. Well, I guess it's not interesting. That's kind of who Embiid is at times.
What do you think of the process?
What do you mean by the process?
Well, that Philadelphia, remember they tanked it for like 3 or 4 years in a row?
Right.
To try to get the draft picks, and they got all these guys, and they still bow out in the first round.
Yeah.
I don't think the process worked.
I don't think the process worked. Do you think it's a coaching issue?
Well, they fired their coach.
Right. I mean, I'm just asking. Do you think was a coaching issue, or
I think
they have to?
Well, I think it's a legitimate question. They had Markel Fultz, who they ended up trading. They had Simmons. They have Embiid. So you have, and these are all top picks.
Tier, yeah.
I mean, these aren't like 8-9 picks or second round picks. These are top guys. And we've talked about Embiid. Embiid's dominant. When he wants to play, he's dominant.
He's a guy with a switch.
Yes, there you go. That's a good example.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's had 7 years. That coach has been in there for 7 years throughout this whole thing, and
never got him to them.
Never going to pass the first or second round.
Right.
With all this talent, I'm not a really big fan of firing coaches, but I'd say in this one, he's had a shot.
Right.
And so, as a general manager, I think it's not a bad idea.
A good move.
They have Toronto next.
I'm a little worried about Toronto.
It should be.
Raptors are a great team.
They played. Oh, I forget who they played. Brooklyn. Kyrie less Brooklyn, and Durant less Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But they got rid of them pretty easy. They have an injury in one of their star players. I forget who his name is, but he sprained his ankle. I don't know how severe that is compared to Hayward's sprain. Hayward's walking around.
Yeah.
I think
but Hayward's not in the bubble. He left. He had left the bubble. He's in Boston.
Yeah.
So plus he's having a baby soon. His wife's having a baby soon. So
I think Hayward's going to come back sooner than we think.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Can they get through Toronto without Hayward?
I think they can.
I do too.
The Celtics have been playing really good basketball.
And I think Kemba Walker's a really big part of that. They needed him to score the other night.
And he did. He scored 32. Yeah, went over 30, and it's his first ever playoff series win.
So I think he's he's that kind of point guard that will score if he needs to, but understands what's around him, understands the picture that these guys need to get the ball.
Right.
And I think last night they needed him to score. Tatum was struggling a little bit. Jaylen Brown was struggling a little bit. And so they weren't getting the offense that they usually did. And he stepped up his offense, went to the basket a lot more, took the shots where he wasn't taking the shots. And that's a leader.
Right. You know who stepped up that I really like is Daniel Tice.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, you know, granted he's probably going to foul out every game, but you know what? He's aggressive, plays some decent defense, and I like him.
Robert Williams has been playing.
Yeah.
You know, he's giving them some minutes off the bench, especially somebody like Embiid, where you need that size to go against him. Toronto doesn't have an Embiid,
Right.
so
We'll
I
see.
like the Celtics' chances against them. I'm going to say Celtics in 6.
Okay.
And while we're there, what's your take on the Celtics, and we'll go back to the Bruins.
My take on the Celtics is I'm going to say the Celtics are going to beat the Raptors. I'm going to say Celtics in 5.
Wow. How about the Bruins in Tampa?
Bruins and Tampa are going to Game 7.
Yeah, I'm going to say Bruins in 7.
I'll say Bruins in 7.
Okay.
But I think we're going to have the whole series.
All right. Little side note: do you know that the Bruins are playing Tampa in Toronto? The Celtics are playing Toronto, not in Tampa, but in Florida.
Florida. Yeah. That's wild.
That's a COVID world.
Yeah.
All right. Real quick golf note. I know we don't talk about golf, but there was the tournament was in Massachusetts.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, at Norton, the TPC in Norton. I don't know the exact name of it, but Dustin Johnson won 30 under par. Now I know you're not a big golfer.
So it's over the course of 4 days.
4 days.
So he's averaging 8 under a round,
roughly, and he beat the next guy was 19 under par. They had 38 players that were 10 under or below.
I think maybe you need to change the golf course, make it a little more difficult.
Okay, so my question was, is that good or bad for golf?
Yeah.
And I mean, there are some golf people out there that do watch, and my
sure.
take is bad. I like tournaments where it's hard, where the players actually seem human. We're not going out and shooting 30 under par in 4 days.
No,
that's not happening. But when you watch like the U.S. Open and a player duffs it in the rough and they can't get out of the rough, and they make a 6 or a 7. Yeah. God, you can relate to that.
Know that,
and then you see how they deal with that and how they come back to another hole. You can't relate to birdie, birdie, eagle, birdie, birdie, eagle.
Yeah.
Which is what Dustin Johnson shot a 27 on the front 9 and 27.
So let me ask you a question, since I don't know a whole lot about golf. How does Dustin Johnson do at other courses? Is it course specific that it's an issue, or is it?
He's a great golfer. He does very well. He's number 1 in the world.
Okay.
And he competes very well in majors also.
Yeah.
But I think it's bad for golf when you have these putt-putt courses for these guys to play. And, now, if I went to the TPC in Norton, I mean, I'm going to shoot 95 probably.
Right, of course.
Especially with the setup that they have.
Yeah.
But these are professional golfers that they need to be challenged more. Mm-hmm. And I think it makes it better for the viewing audience when these courses where a winning score, they used to say the U.S. Open that par should be a winning score.
Okay.
And so you would saw back in the Payne Stewart days that a guy would finish +1 at the end of the 4 days, and there was a grind.
Yeah.
And those are the better tournaments, and those are majors, and that's why. I mean, these guys don't want to play those courses all the time, and I kind of don't understand that. Mm-hmm. It's the same course for everybody else, but that's our golf minute for this week. All right, Allie's with us for another week.
Oh, that's good.
And
we said goodbye last week.
We did, so we're gonna say
we're
goodbye.
Welcoming her back. So thank you so much, Allie.
So she's got a game. Guess the date, sport edition. So I have some questions for Sally on this. Are we talking the year? All right. So guessing the year that this happened.
Okay.
All right.
Guess the date, sport edition.
All right.
All right. When did Babe Ruth retire? You're laughing because what did you do? Research on this?
I had no idea that this was the game that we were playing today. I'm gonna guess, but want me to go first? Or are you gonna go?
Yeah, you can go first. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say. So, retire. Remember, he went back to the Red Sox. I think I'm gonna say 1935.
I'm gonna go with 36. Oh, look at you, Mikey. Nice.
When did Gronk sign with the Arizona Wildcats?
The Arizona Wildcats. Okay. Let's see.
That's me, isn't it? Or is it?
I think it's me.
Okay.
Right. I'm thinking. Brady. Let's see. He signed with the Arizona Wildcats in.
Take your time.
I'm taking my time. 2003.
I'm going to say 2007.
Look at you. Woo!
He
Nice.
was drafted in 2010. I don't
When
know.
did Mookie Betts get traded? He got traded in.
Oh, yeah, that's,
Go ahead,
that's
it's you.
me. So he got traded in 2020.
2020. 2018. Oh, it's 2020.
It's 2020 with a little technical difficulty in there.
When did Mike Trout get drafted?
Well, he's your hero.
I'm not going to know the answer
You've got
to
a
this.
Mike Trout pillow, so I'm.
Mike Trout pillow. Man, I'd like to have a Mike Trout bobblehead. He got drafted in, let's say 2015.
I'm gonna say 2011.
Oh, that does not count. 2011. All right.
You're not very good at this.
I'm terrible at this.
When did Larry Bird retire?
Larry Bird retired in. Oh, that's you.
1992.
1993. Oh, look at you.
Running away with it.
Man. When did Tom Brady join the Michigan Wolverines? This is me. Let's see. 97.
I'm gonna say 97 also.
Ooh, we are not good at this. Or I'm not good at this. You are. When did Cam Newton win MVP? That's you.
That's me. Let's say 2000. So it was the year that 2013.
2013. Oh.
I'm questioning Ali's numbers on these.
When was Taco Fall drafted? He was drafted in 2018.
2019.
Nice. That was fun.
I think I'm up.
You are up. You're up one game now.
Yeah, 3-2. I think.
Yeah,
the
3-2.
number is.
That's
So,
good.
That's
That's
good.
awesome. Thank
All
you,
right.
Ali, for creating another great game for us. It was
Want
fun.
to thank our sponsors,
Yep.
Downtown Grill and Cafe
Skelly's Market.
and Morrissey's Porch and Pub. And remember, you can listen to Mike and the Hoss on WASR Radio, 4:30 on Fridays. Have a great week.
Go Knights.